Howdy y'all, it's Kathy from RustPaperScissors, and I'm here today to participate in the Junk Journal Challenge 3 Under 30, where you make 3 items for a junk journal. What I'm going to do today is make 3 library card pockets, or you could call them themed pockets or whatever, but it's using these pre-made library cards. I love to use these. They're quick and easy. I put them at the front of a journal or just throughout the journal as pockets. I'm going to show you a couple of ways that I manipulate them. The items that we need today are some digital prints. I use some metal rim tags, scissors, glue, and then stickers. So just a variety of things. But first of all, I wanted to talk about the tag. So let me clear. I'm going to stop it for just a second, and I'm going to clear this away, and then we'll get started. Okay, I'm going to do this real quick, and then I'll set the timer, and we'll make the 3 pockets. What you can do with a library pocket is you can make a pocket that you slip another library card into, and then on the back on this one I cut it down, but I'll show you that. Or you can put it on top, and that's the reason I cut it down. It makes more of a gusseted pocket. So I'll show you that real quickly, and then we'll get started. But what I do is I take an library card pocket, and I line it up corner to corner, obviously, to make a triangle. And then my Fiskars cutter has a wire down the center, and it allows me to really line that up very well where the blade is going to cut, and then I just cut it. And then that gives you what I call a twofer, because you'll have 2 pockets, this one, and then if you take your glitter glue or glue, and if you glue this edge or flap up, you have another pocket. And then I just trim it. These library pockets have the double-sided tape already on them, so I prefer it without it, but you can't always find it. And then how I make the gusseted pocket is I turn it over, and I cut about, maybe 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm along the side, and then along the other side I'm going to cut about the same. And I'm just going to add it with glue, but you could use, the double-sided tape. In fact, on this one, I will use the double-sided tape that's there. And then I'll glue this side. And then what you do is you bring your extra library pocket over, and you line it up as best you can. And now you have what I call a gusseted pocket. Let's see if it sticks enough. But see, that allows you to add perhaps just a little bit more things to it, and it's not very bulky on the side, so it doesn't really take up a lot of extra room. Now with this other one, you could do it the same way. You could trim it down, or you can just leave it plain and glue it this way. And I think I'll just do that just to be quick, and then we'll start our project. I'm just going to put some glue in there, and then I add the pocket, and Well, I can't get this one straight. Let's see. Okay, there we go. It's not going to be straight, but there's your other pocket. So that's 2 pockets you can make. And then the other thing you can do is make an envelope. And what I did was I take a rusted turn button and I measure where it's going to not interfere with the flap, and I mark it. And then I've already done that. And then I'm just going to take a little pokey tool. You could take your crocodile. I just poke a little tool because I'm using these mini rusted brads, and they're pretty small, so I don't like too big of a hole. Then you just clip that on there. You clip that in there. And then you open the prongs up. I can see how to do that, yep. And so now you have a little envelope, a library card envelope. So pretty easy. So that's the ideas about using the library cards. Now I'm going to stop it again and get ready, and we're going to make our 3 tags. Okay, this is the first tag that we're going to make. It's just a little Paris themed tag. Oh, let me start my timer, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's a Paris themed tag, and what I'm going to do is take this library card. This is the digital that I wanted to use. This is from Cheryl Francis Art. I just found her and I really like her. She does a lot of these digital kits and grungy collage paper. And the reason I don't do collage on these 30-minute challenges is because I can't make a decision that quick. And so I'm gonna cut this digital down, but see how pretty it is? And we're gonna cut it down, and then we're gonna glue it onto our tag. I may have to trim it just a little bit, but let's use some a glue stick, and then we're just gonna glue it. I like to align the top because it's harder. It would be harder to cut the top of the library card, and then I can trim it on the bottom if I need to. And we'll trim the sides here. And then we'll trim that. Okay. Now the next, then you have your little pocket. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is cover this tuck spot with some sticky back velvet. And I like to just place it on there and then cut around it, because I find that it's a little bit easier to cut once you do that. And I use this little Fisker's finger trimmer, and I'm just gonna butt it up against the library card triangle, and we're just gonna cut it out. I use this stuff a lot. Y'all are probably tired of seeing it, but it works so well, and I really enjoy using it. So on these 30-minute challenges, you got to be fast. And then we'll come up here. Oops. On this stuff, it's better if you start kind of in the middle and then trim it And then if you turn it and then cut this end off, it just goes a little easier. And now I'm gonna trim up this edge right here. I didn't get it quite exact. Okay, so now we have a pocket. And I trimmed the back kind of like I showed earlier in the gusseted. So that's going to be our pocket. Now I'm going to take some of this, I call it Art Deco trim, but I love this stuff. It's, easy to work with. I'm just going to cut it here. Okay. And then I'm going to trim it to fit this. So what I'm going to do is it's double-sided, you know, it has double-sided sticky tape on there. This tape is really sticky. Okay. And then we're going to just, I need to get right over it so I can make sure I get it where I want it. And I just pull back a little bit at a time and stick it down. Let's see if I can get over just a little bit more. I like to get right on the edge. Okay. All right. And then we're going to trim off the back. And now you have your trim. So we've got our pocket made. Now for the embellishing part of it, on this one I made it a Paris theme journal, and I added the little metal rim tag where it says Paris is always a good idea, and then I added it with a ball chain. But I just used, again, what I call pre-made tags, a library card, graphed paper that our graphed index card, and then weather, and then meals. And then what I did was I take my label maker, and I have these, so I'm just going to do one of these because you know how to do it. And let's start with the Paris. And you don't have to do that, you know, make it your own. But I liked this one saying Paris itinerary, because if you were on a trip to Paris and you could stick this little library pocket in your purse or suitcase, and then you could write the date and then what you did. So I thought that was a cute or a good idea. Let's see. Okay, so there's that. And then I would have put top, you know, these say hotels, top 10, weather, and then this one says meals. So it just is cute. So that one, where did it go? There it is. Okay, so now the other thing that I did was I added a grommet and the ball and chain. I'm not going to do that. I forgot to bring the grommets, but I did want to show you. I talked about this in other videos. I really like using the Avery website where you can make stickers and labels to match your project, and I really recommend it. I use it a lot at Halloween, and when we get to the Halloween one, I'll show you the example. But all I did was I printed this Paris is always a good idea, and then I cut the circle out, and then you just take your middle rim tag, and you're just going to place it on there where you want it, and straight if you can. Okay, and then I take my Crop-A-Dile, and I just cut that label paper off, and then I use the ball and chain. Easier said than done. Okay, so this is the ball. Okay, so that would go, you could put it there, you could put it up there if you wanted, but it'd interfere with the tags. So these are just the tags that go in them, and a quick themed little pocket for your junk journal. So this is what we made, and then this is the prototype. And so let's work on the next one. Oh, I wanted to show you. Then you could add into this, you could add another little here in the pocket, and then you've got a beautiful tag. But you could leave, I like this because you could write on it. So that's that one. Now we're going to do the Halloween. And again, this was just a loaded pocket. I have several tags in here, but we're going to make the cover here. All I did was I downsized or resized a digital print, and made it fit my journal. Then I'm just going to glue it on. This is a cardstock. On that one I used just typing paper, but I wanted it to be a little bit sturdier with putting things in and out. So I just sized this down, and just to leave just a little edge around the pocket. And then you just kind of have to really let that glue stick. And then again, I added a eyelet, and then I made this little, again, metal rim tag. And then from the Dollar Tree, I got these skeletons, and I love to use them. I make tassels out of them. I deconstruct them and make tassels. So what I did was, since this was called the Bone Collector, I took a arm or hand bone, and then I took just another bone from the, I don't know what bone that is, and just added those. I thought it was a cute embellishment, but didn't take up a lot of room. And then on the inside, well, let me talk about this. I added this skeleton clip, RRR. I thought that was funny. So it's just something to clamp if you had extra pages or something you wanted to put on there. Then inside, what I did was I made, again, this metal rim tag. And what I do, this is an example of taking the Avery website, and I use a full sheet template, and you just size the projects to what you need. And then this is an example of a little tag that I made and put in there. This was just a digital that says inventory. From a friend I had gotten, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but these are MRI images from a friend that her aunt had these and she passed away. And so these are just x-rays that I thought would be fun in there. This is just a little mini clipboard that I made to add. And then again, just a guest check. And then this one I thought I would show you how I do it. Again, I like to use the guest checks because the background's kind of already done. It's got lines on it, front and back. You could use the lines for journaling. I take the sticker off the bottom and I put it on the back because there's a thank you there. And then all I did was I found these little poison apples digitals, and I think it's a sticker paper. Well, maybe not. I thought I had a sticker paper. Normally this would be on sticker paper. And then we'll just glue it on there. But I like to use these stickers and things because it's quick and easy. And then they could write maybe their carameled apple recipe, or, you know, something that they do. So that's just a quick sticker. Let's get it straight. So that's just what I put inside this little tag. Yeah. And then I clipped this clipboard onto those guest checks just so it stands out. And then I figured guests check in, but they don't check out. And then the inventory and the tag. So that's just kind of what it looks like. And I thought it was fun. So what else we need to do? We would add the grommet, but I don't have time. This is the little metal rim tag with the skeleton bones. And I just added split rings to them. I made a hole in this bone, but this one I didn't have to. It already had, you know, the hole there. And so just added those. And then all we're going to do is, if I can find the bone collector, there it is. Okay. This is, again, a sticker. I know this is a sticker. And you just position it on there so it's straight. And then you cut the hole in it. Okay, and then I add the ball and chain. And then I just add the bones. I add them to the back. You could put them on at the front. I just thought it worked better that way. Okay. And then you just clamp it on there. So that would be added to that, and then we would have the different tags. And again, these were just some examples of things you could put in there. And that just says radioactive. You could make that a tag on the side if you wanted. So that's another example. So that's our Halloween stuffed envelope. And then this one is just kind of a shabby chic one. Let's see, yeah. I have this digital print that I want to use, and I'm just going to cut it down. Okay, but these were two other examples from that Cheryl Francis art that I thought were just really pretty and would be beautiful in a journal. So I'm just going to put some glue stick on there. I'm trying to hurry, so because I only have 10 minutes left and I want to get it done. And then I'm just gonna, another thing about the glue stick, it's nice because it gives you a little wiggle room. You can align it, and then if it's not exactly right, sometimes you can fix it. So let's see if we can do that. So there's that. And then this one I'm gonna have to trim down just a little bit. Well, I didn't do a great job. Okay, the glue's not quite dry. And then okay. Then this one I wanted to add some of this beautiful lace, and so I cut it down to fit. I added some double-side tape on the back, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add just a little glue to the edge here, and that will secure it kind of on the front. I only want it on the edge because it's going to be a pocket. And then now I'm going to line this up to the edge here as best I can. Okay. And then we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to use this double-sided tape. I may put some extra glue on there just along the side because I didn't go out quite far enough. And then I'm just going to bring this over and glue it down. Then I have to trim it at the end on the back. And then here's this one. And then again, I'm going to add a little glue on the edge just to make it. And then we'll pull this over. And now you have a beautiful pocket. I'm going to trim that off because I don't really like that showing. So I'm just going to kind of cut that. I think I'm going to cut it. I may not have the right scissors to cut it. There. Okay. So now we have a library pocket tag, and you can put a tag in there, or you can use it back here. Oh, what I had planned to show was this image inside. A little dress form. The flowers, you could write on there if you wanted. And then you've got your little library card in the back. So those are our three projects that we made. Looks like we just got under 30 minutes, and then I just went over a little bit with that introduction. And then this is the Paris theme. So it's fun to make little themed pockets for your journals. There, now we can see Bone Collector. So that's the three that I made. I would love it if you left me a comment. Tell me which one you liked the best. Are your thoughts and ideas about the project. I do appreciate your time. Thank you very much.